Hey, friends, welcome to Tactical Talks. It's your host, Vince Gord, and I'm excited to be back with you guys. I realize it has been it has been such a challenge since we've started season three, but I'm excited just for us to stay connected and for us to stay intentional. You guys know Tactical Talks is a platform created for authors, bloggers, influencers of all types who are doing amazing things for the kingdom of God that I feel like you need to know about. So I encourage you to pay attention to this hashtag. You're going to add it to the comments later on today. So today's episode, this is episode 6 for season 3, and today's episode is cultivating confidence in your communication. Now, I realize that for a lot of people, especially for a lot of my viewers, you guys who have started new businesses, who are creating new things in the as a result of COVID, you starting new small businesses. Your side hustle now has a EIN. You know, you're actually doing some things, and we're trying to make it so that you can begin to transition and maybe replace some income, replace a salary if possible. And part of that is going to require you to begin to start doing some things that you may not feel very comfortable with. Let's be honest. Probably the one thing that most people are most uncomfortable about it is public speaking. It is getting in front of people. It is putting yourself out there. It is talking. It is having communication or stretching yourself in places and ways that you are normally not accustomed to being a part of. Now, uh, being a teacher and a pastor, it's talking to people is not my problem. But I realize though, for a lot of people, it is the quite the opposite. If anything, they almost shut down, break out in cold sweats, and even though they may be the most qualified at the table, they may be the most educated in the room. When it comes to sharing what's on the inside, it can become a problem. And my guest tonight is an amazing, accomplished young woman. I love just how she's had this amazing opportunity to help me as I've progressed along in perfecting my walk. Because even though I speak, let's be honest, I could use a lot of help. I'm still not where I could be. I stumble, lots of filler words, plenty of broken English, bad use of vocabulary, and yet you guys stay with me. It's amazing. I love you. Today, my guest is none other than distinguished Toastmaster. I want to say, three times distinguished Toastmaster, Miss Alstenia Smith-Sellers. Now, she's with me today, and she's got a lot of great tips. We're gonna have just kind of a conversation. We keep it organic. I don't want you to feel pressed, but I want you to be able to hear some things that she's got to say that will help you as we go through our conversation. Because I wanted us to look at some real life scenarios, and then get her experience, get her expertise on how we can perfect what we're doing, and then also give you access to some references and to some resources that will absolutely help your trajectory to go forward, get you closer to where you need to be, so you can be able to connect with people like her and her team so they can help to cultivate your confidence in communicating. You ready? Come on, let's bring her on. I encourage you guys. Won't you help me to give a round of applause to my guest, Miss Alstena Smith-Sellers? The applause button. I don't have that. I don't have the cue. Yeah, where are you? When you have it. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, welcome. I am so glad to have you. How are you doing tonight?
I am absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
It is so wild because I'm so used to seeing you in the comments on Tactical Talks, and to have you as a guest tonight, it's almost a little surreal here.
It's awesome to be, even though we're not face to face, we're face to face. And it's awesome to be face to face.
Absolutely. So we had a conversation earlier this week, and I thank you so much for just taking the time to allow our private conversation to become an entire episode here on Tactical Talks. We were talking, and I was actually sharing with you something, a pet peeve of my wife's, and I'm gonna talk about her because I love her, and I know right now she's hosting another event that you actually would have been at had you been participating in had you not chosen to participate with me tonight. So I thank you for skipping out on my wife tonight, so you can hang out with us tonight. It sounds so rude, right? It sounds so brutal. Um, so one of my wife's pet peeves, and for all of you who know Pastor Tomika, if you know my wife, she is the real sports fan in the family. I am the action movie, sci-fi, anime. I am a movie guy. I am not the sports head. I am the guy who cheers for the team that she's not cheering for because everybody needs some love, you know. And and Alstena, you are also a big sports fan.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
we've had plenty of days where you've come to our house and you and my wife have been on opposite sides of the TV, rooting for two different teams. But my wife has this pet peeve. There's this thing that just gets her goat, and it is when professional athletes have this opportunity to be interviewed, whether it be post game or it be on a show, wherever they are, and while they're doing press, oftentimes we don't get the same caliber conversation from our pro athletes of color that we see with other athletes, and it's like her I want to say not just her pet peeve. I always hear her say, "Oh my gosh, why doesn't somebody make sure they sign up for a speech class, sign up to be in Toastmasters or something?" That's one of her top things. She always says that, and I thought about that. I was like, you know what? Especially with this year coming up, with all the Black girl magic happening in the Olympics, with all of the amazing things happening in Atlanta with the Hawks, yay! Uh, and just watching these accomplished young viral athletes who, when given the opportunity to get the stage and the camera and the microphone presented in front of them, they communicate, but oftentimes it doesn't always it doesn't always seem like that they are confident in their conversation, or they're confident in their ability, but sometimes their conversation does not reflect the very same thing. My question to you starting off is, what or how do you define clear conversation, or clear communication? How would you what would be the parameters for defining what clear communication looks like, so we can kind of get something to gauge by? I feel like that you're the subject matter expert right now.
Okay. Well, to me, it's important to understand that when we communicate, the emphasis is that to communicate, to convey an idea. And obviously, if you're the one that's trying to get the idea across, you need to be the one that's most proficient in conveying the idea. And that to me is the importance of communication and the difference between communicating and just talking. We can talk all day long and not really say anything.
Mm.
But when we're communicating, we are conveying idea or ideas. Therefore, it's important, A, to know what that idea is and be really confident in being able to get whoever you're trying to communicate it to understand what it is that you're saying. So that to me is the importance and the difference between communicating and talking or speaking, I should say.
Now, so I had set to kind of look up some interviews. I wanted to kind of pull one or two up at some point during our conversation. But before we get to a few of those, um, I realized. Tell us a little bit about your walk right here, and who you're representing. Because today, right now, you are. I know that you've held the position of president of the Dawnbreakers Toastmasters Club here in Decatur, Georgia, based out of Beulah Baptist Church. But uh, I think that um, when people hear Toastmasters, I remember when I first heard about Toastmasters. At first, I thought it was like a Kiwanis club at first, and then having been exposed a little further, I was like, oh man, it's these people are just preparing so that they can make a toast at a wedding or make a toast at at a presentation. But then, having been exposed to the program, I realized that there is so much more in the depth of it and the levels of information that get shared in building competence in communication is so powerful. Can you tell us a little bit about your walk with Toastmasters and your position there, and then a little bit about what the power or I guess what the some of the amazing graces or power or I guess takeaways that people can get from being exposed to a program like Toastmasters.
Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to allow me to share my journey. I've always been one who felt she could speak pretty well and never had a problem talking with people. But as I grew older and actually began to be exposed to different experiences, I realized that it took more than just being able to, as I said earlier, to talk with individuals. It was crucial to be able to communicate with individuals, whether that be one person, whether that be 10 people, whether that's 100 people. The key is to be able to communicate. And in doing so, I was introduced to an organization, Toastmasters International. Now, Toastmasters is a unique organization in the sense that it provides you with not just the ability to, again, speak, but it gives you a structured itinerary, if you will, starting with the very basics. And that is speaking about yourself, knowing who you are, and being able to convey that. And it goes from that point on to what I consider the 10th project of a manual, and that is inspiring, an inspirational speech. And I say this because your first speech is an icebreaker. You're talking about yourself. We all should be comfortable in doing that, but you'd be surprised at the people who aren't comfortable in doing that. You should know yourself, and we probably do, but help me know you. There lies the communication. Help me know who you are. That's the first speech. And as far as time is concerned, it is the shortest speech. But in my opinion, it's probably one of the most important speeches because you, again, have to convey, who are you? Okay, I'm Alstenia. And what does that mean?
Right.
And that's the question that I'm sure your audience would ask themselves. But that's the question that you have to communicate. And I use that word a lot, communicate. And Toastmasters provides you with that ability to develop the communication skills. Toastmasters is an international organization, and we are all around the world. And so we get an opportunity not only to communicate with those stateside, but we get to communicate with the world. So we get to understand what's going on in the world. So to me, Toastmasters has been and still is pivotal in my development to the point where I feel that it is important that not only myself as an adult is exposed to Toastmasters, but probably more importantly, and it's my passion, is that our young people are exposed to Toastmasters. And to me, I've had the privilege, and I say the privilege, of working with a young woman who is on record the youngest, the absolute youngest person to be able to complete what we call a competent communications manual. And she completed it at the age of 7 years old. And that's none other than my love, Zoe. Hey, Zoe. But Zoe did it at 7. And that to show you how important it is And it was important for her to grasp it and learn it for herself at that age. And
I
it's
love
my
it.
belief that that's the age to start. And that's the age I've had the privilege of working and helping to cultivate young people to understand the importance of knowing how to communicate and being committed to learning how to do it. And again, I've had the privilege of working with them along with their parents and others, but working with the young people is crucial, absolutely crucial and critical.
You bring to light an amazing point, because I think that sometimes people think that they have to wait until later, or that it's not as important. That there's some areas of our life that require more attention, and they miss the what I feel like the rounded experience of education for their children by making sure they get exposed to things exactly like the Gavel Club, which is the I guess the not so much the younger, smaller version of Toastmasters, but it is what I love about the Gavel Club experience is it is. Let me rephrase it. The Gavel Club experience that I've watched you cultivate for specifically for my children as they participated in your Gavel Club, that it did not treat them like kids. It challenged them to become responsible for their own content. It challenged them to become independent. Challenged them to become responsible with creating their own content. And you could tell when parents help, but you can also tell when kids own the information. And the more that they speak, especially when they get feedback from their peers, the more confident they become, especially when their peers catch them or check them on uh, filler words or bad grammar. And then they don't feel like they're being attacked, but rather, okay, yeah, I did do that, or yeah, I did do that. And the younger that you catch this, the more that you help to solidify better speaking habits, which makes them more proficient adults, I feel like. And you have a tremendous, I feel like probably one of the premier Gavel Club programs, to the point to where I almost feel like I believe I remember hearing that that districts have come to look and to view and to watch your program just to be able to see how engaging and how powerful your program is for young people, because we never get a second chance to make a first impression, and the earlier we can help these skills to be applied to our young people, the better they'll become as adults. In the event that if they do become amazing athletes, we'll know that they can at least be able to speak well when they stand in front of a camera.
That's important. And the important thing, I tell my young people all the time that if you cannot articulate your idea to the person who writes the check, your
Hmm.
idea falls on the actually on the cutting floor. And when I say write the check, I want it to be clear. I'm not necessarily talking about a monetary check. That check can be in the line of an opportunity, because there lies the difference. Because you never know when or who you're speaking to. And that's the other important part that I feel that we have to instill on our young people is the fact you always have to be prepared to take advantage of an opportunity, because you don't know where it is. You don't know where it lies. You can get in the elevator, and the person that you get in the elevator with, he might be the person that is over the internship program that you want to be a part of. And he might just say, "Good morning, how are you?" That's your 30-second opportunity to tell them who you are in a way that they're impressed, to the point where they'll say, "Wow, I need to speak with that young person." There's your opportunity.
Hmm.
But if you're not prepared, if you don't know how to speak, your opportunity, you lose it. And as we all know, opportunities don't come often. So when they do come, you have to be prepared to take advantage of it. And that's what I feel the Gavel Club and Toastmasters prepares you for. Because as a young person, those opportunities are definitely important. And as we all know, as adults, those opportunities are equally as important. And as we look at today, you don't know how those opportunities, the platform of those opportunities. It used to be you might be in an elevator or you might walk and meet someone, but it might very well be that you're sitting at your desk looking into a computer. You have to be equally as impressive. You have to be equally as prepared, if not more prepared, because you don't have the opportunity to vibe off that person. All you can do is look in their face, and hopefully you can read their looks and how they're taking you, but not necessarily. So you have to depend upon your ability to communicate and your ability to articulate your thoughts. And that's the key. And I can't tell you how often recently I've been so very concerned at what I hear, and how I hear young people not having the ability to complete a sentence or not having the ability to complete a thought without either ums and ahs or, well, you knows and you got what I'm talking about and this type of language. And it's like, well, actually, I don't know what you're talking about. Help me, help me.
Know what I
So,
mean? Not I mean, not I mean.
right, exactly. And I'm saying, no, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you're saying. And if I don't know what you're saying, and I'm someone who loves you and wants the best for you, the world certainly is not going to take time to figure out what it is you're trying to say. It's not going to happen. It's
I, I
not
don't I
going
don't think I don't think Google Translate can translate slang yet. I don't think they can
to.
translate.
No. So
So
it's imperative. It's absolutely imperative that our young people understand the importance of being able to communicate.
now when we talk about young people, because I feel like, you know, our children are absolutely, they are probably the most at risk with text language,
Mhm.
which is totally demolished the ability for proper clear handwritten communication, for phonics being taken out of the school system, which makes it now hard for them to spell, with handwriting or script being taken out. So now they don't know how to write well. And then also not being able to have proper verbal communication skills. They may know the word, but they don't know how to spell it, don't know which phrase, which version of the word to use. And that's just our kids. But let's talk a little. Let's dial back for a second. I'd like to talk about, because I realize that with Tactical Talks, a lot of the people who are watching, who connect to Tactical Talks, are, you know, people who are adults who may be uh, doing some new things, taking some risks, writing books, starting businesses, and they realize that they have a great tool, a great commodity. They may have a great asset, a great uh, uh, opportunity that they can present that might be monetary, or might be growing them in future gains. But if they don't have the ability to be able to properly communicate, they lose opportunities, like you said earlier, to be able to have, you know, access to the check writer. My question to you is, who is the target market, do you feel like, for a Toastmaster? I mean, to join Toastmasters, because I remember when I joined, part of it was because, like you referenced, my daughter and my son had the opportunity to go through Gavel Club with you, and watching young people like Natasha Mashabatu and Courtney Smith, and watching these young ladies and young men just be so beautifully proficient in public speaking, and thinking, man, uh, 20 years a pastor, and you know, I had one speech class and nobody shared with me the stuff that they're knowing how to do right now. I needed to know these things, and so I was like, okay, I need to at least try to get my CC. My daughter's, she challenged me to get. I still have slacking. I have not gotten mine yet. I try not to talk about it, not to bring it up. Uh, but you referenced, um, you know, the first assignment, which is the icebreaker speech, and I didn't realize how challenging that was, to, for 3 to 5 minutes, talk about myself in a manner and in a way that 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 allowed people to be interested, to leave them wanting more, but not to give more than they needed. And that was something that I got the opportunity to learn listening to you, getting feedback from you, kind of growing my craft. That's me understanding that I needed it. Who do you who are the people who need this that don't know that they need it? So give me an idea of a few of the people who you feel like would absolutely benefit from participating in even just one session of a Toastmasters meeting. Who are some of the target people that you think that should be included in a gathering?
That's an interesting question because the way Toastmasters is designed to meet you wherever you are. So that can be the 18-year-old who's getting ready to go off to college, who's not real comfortable with what their communication skills are. That could be the 35-year-old who is in a position getting ready to make a career move and
Mm,
not sure of how to do that. That could be a senior citizen who just wants to be better, wants to do better, and realizes that they're lacking their communication skills. So that's the beauty of Toastmasters. It will meet you wherever you are and start and groom and work with you to help you cultivate whatever you want to accomplish. So that age could be anywhere. The only thing is, to be a Toastmaster, you do have to be 18 because you actually are entering into a contract and an agreement. So you do have to be 18 to join. But that age, that could range anywhere from 18 to 85, to be honest with you. So it really depends. Now, the other beauty of it is that we have clubs that actually are in senior citizen facilities, for
wow.
example, or senior citizen communities. So naturally, if you want to be around those persons of your own age, and you don't necessarily want to be around an 18-year-old or a 25-year-old, and you want to be around maybe a 50-year-old or 55-year-old, you might look to join a club in that meets in one of the senior citizen communities. And they are very powerful clubs because they bring a totally different perspective to the table. And I've had the opportunity and the pleasure of visiting and being not members, but being a part of their meetings. And their meetings are eye-opening and thought-provoking. So it really depends on what you want to accomplish. And that's the beauty of Toastmasters. It is geared toward your goals. And we try to help you achieve your goals.
Now, where can people connect with, or how can they find a club in their area? I realize because of COVID, a lot of things have changed. So some are meeting in person, some are meeting online. But I also realize that because of the online interactions, it now makes it a lot easier or more convenient, should I say, for some people to be able to connect and engage and to sample, if you will, a a Toastmasters meeting or a gathering, and to be able to get the experience and not even have to worry about leaving their physical zone. As a matter of fact, I believe that you were sharing with me recently about how you had the opportunity to kind of travel the world in some Toastmasters meetings just because of the online experience. Can you share that?
Yes, last weekend I was excited. I couldn't, well, I was excited. I started off my day at 9:30 a.m. I came to my Toastmasters meeting, which is in Decatur. I logged off my Toastmasters meeting and I traveled completely around the world to Johannesburg, South Africa, where I met with Toastmasters in Johannesburg. And
Hmm.
it was an awesome experience, even though they all spoke French, but that was okay. I was in the house, so I was happy about that. I left there, I came home, had a bite to eat, And then I logged into the Caribbean and actually had an opportunity to enjoy a club, a Caribbean club, and it was awesome, absolutely awesome. So there, even though we are Toastmasters and we really are concentrating on communicating face to face, but in this new environment, it does have its advantages, and it did allow me the opportunity to actually engage other Toastmasters with similar goals, similar aspirations, and learn a different way of accomplishing goals. So it was awesome. And that's one of the beauties of Toastmasters by us being an international organization, and certainly the beauty of us being online, a number of our clubs being online. Now, to find out where and to find a club that you like, now I would be remiss if I didn't tell you about my club, which is here in Decatur.
No.
Probably the best Toastmasters club in the world. And yes, that's a thankless plug, but still, nonetheless. But there are Toastmasters. You can actually log on to Toastmasters.org, and it will prompt you, and all you have to do is put in your location wherever you are. And I believe it asks for either the state, and it will narrow it down to actually the zip code. And there are Toastmasters clubs all over the world, as I stated before. The challenge being now, what clubs are actually meeting online and what clubs are meeting face to face.
Gotcha.
And right now, most of us are still viral. So virtual clubs. So, but nonetheless, we still maintain the Toastmasters motto, which is to provide a supporting learning environment for all of our members to learn. And we say public speaking skills, but we also teach leadership skills, which is equally as important in this day and age.
Okay, and so we see we have the website on the screen, so they can just go here and at the top
Yes.
just find a club and search based on their general area and location. Um, and what I love about the Dawn Breakers is um, I realize that this club is specific and special for a number of reasons, but you all have a special certification, a special uh, level of I want to say accomplishment that you all have maintained for over 23 years now. Can you share about that?
Yes. The Toastmasters actually challenges each of its clubs to accomplish what we call DCP goals. And there are 10 goals. And when you accomplish all 10 of those goals in a Toastmasters year, you are considered what we call a President's Distinguished Club. And that's the highest credential that a club can achieve. And I'm very proud to say, Dawnbreakers Toastmasters Club, we have been President's Distinguished now 26 years
Wow.
straight. So we have accomplished 10 out of 10 goals each year for 26 years.
Okay.
So we take a lot of pride in that, because in order to accomplish those goals, it takes a team effort. It means that our club is committed to their members, committing to accomplishing both club goals and member goals. So it's quite an accomplishment, and we're very proud of it.
And that is important because if anyone's looking for a Toastmasters club to participate with, the reason that I wanted to make sure that people heard that was because if you're going to go to a club, if you're going to go somewhere, you might as well go to the best one in your area. You want to go to one that is, I can go to a restaurant that has, a score of an 80, or I can go to one that has a score of 100. They could be both in the same chain, but I would probably rather go to the one with the score of 100 than just the one with the score of 80. Just because, yeah, all the menu items are the same, However, I'll probably get a better
That takes
experience if I
thing.
go to the better to the one that's got the distinguished r accomplishments. And so having done that, that means you've served. I know that you personally have served in so many positions over the course of your tenure with Dawn Breakers and with Toastmasters in the district, in the region, in the area, in your club. And there are so many things that you've accomplished along the way. I'm quite sure you've delivered that you probably don't even know how many speeches you've delivered over the years, I guess, at this point. My question to you is when uh, can you give us some tips, like maybe 3 or 4 tips for someone who's watching today? They're on the fence about joining or even visiting a club because they feel like that they're going to get roped into something, but they are interested in becoming a better speaker. They are interested in practicing at least something in the mirror so they can get better at maybe pitching their new business because it's a small business, but they know it's a great one. Or for that young man who is he's trying to build confidence to prepare himself for that interview with the internship. What are maybe 3 or 4 high points that people can kind of run through in the mirror that they can just kind of go away with, they can just use personally to help personally just kind of polish their presentation?
Basically, I'm going to tell you one of the things that I learned early on, and it stays with me to this day. First of all, be clear about what it is you want to convey. And don't hesitate to write that down. A lot of us feel we have to commit everything to memory, and maybe, but initially when you start, write it down. Be clear about it. And I use what we call a mind mapping diagram. And that diagram, what that does, it tells me, it gives me an idea of what I want to do, and then it gives me how I want to support that. My first tip is to make sure you're confident about writing it down. That way you're sure. And you can always look and see, oh wow, I really needed to say this. Or I left that out. I need to add this. Or I could take this away. So it's important to me, number one, I think, is to be able to write down your speech. Number two, don't be ashamed to stand in the mirror and practice. Practice, 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 and practice again. The international champion of public speaking, we are actually honored to have him as a member of our club. And Dwayne always says, what makes a speech better is your familiarity to it. So you have to be willing to practice. You have to be willing to say it over and over and over again until it's second nature to you. Practice, practice, practice. And the other thing about practicing, don't be afraid to ask someone to listen to you. Get someone else's opinion about what you're saying. Because it's important that you say what you mean and mean what you say. So if you're not saying it so that the person you're trying to convey it to understands it, then you're defeated. So don't be afraid to touch somebody on the shoulder and say, Alstenia, you have a moment, can you listen to my speech? And then probably the other important thing is be willing to accept feedback. Be willing to accept feedback. And feedback is not always good. When I say good, if someone tells you you said the word 20 times, that's good for you to know that. But it's not good for you to say it 20 times, if you understand what I'm saying. So be willing to hear that and apply it. Because in order for you to be better, you have to be willing to listen and apply what you hear when it applies to you being better. I never forget, I gave a speech when I used to say 50. I thought I said 50, but in essence, I was saying 50. My evaluator said, well, Alstina, you did a great job, but you did not pronounce your T. Excuse me, I did pronounce my T. I know how to say 50. I said 50. No, you didn't. So they played it back to me. And sure enough, I said 50. So, lesson learned. Your evaluator wants to make you better, help you be better. Listen and accept that is given to you. Those things that you can use, apply. Those that you can't, just forget about it. But be willing to accept it. And those would be, I think, the critical points that I would say to anyone. If you want to be better, join a Toastmasters Club. Join a Toastmasters Club. It is designed, its whole structure is designed to make you better. And I like to say in our club, we even take the competitiveness out of it. We don't compete against each other. We don't care if you're the best speaker, the best evaluator, the best whatever. We don't care. So we remove that entire element out of our club. And we emphasize evaluations. We want you to do and to be the best you can be. Well, actually, I tell my young people, you want to be a notch above excellence.
Yeah.
Everybody's excellent these days, at least they think they are.
Right.
But
Right.
we want you to be a notch above excellence. So when you speak, they have no choice but to listen because they want to hear what you have to say.
I'm reminded as a kid growing up, there used to be a commercial that would come on, and it used to say, "When E.F. Hutton speaks, everyone listens." And it's crazy how certain things just kind of stick with you as you grow. But you're absolutely right, uh, especially, and I can speak as a witness to participating in the Dawnbreakers Toastmasters Club because having participated, first of all, the club is full of an amazing, just a plethora of just gifted people, authors, uh, you know, playwrights, actors. I mean, the gambit is educators. Uh, you name it, it's in the club. But to watch the interaction and the experience, especially having literally sat next to the champion that you were describing and be in the setting and not be at all intimidated because everybody made it feel like family. It kind of felt like you were even the strangers, that made you feel like that you were a part of a group that got to know that everyone was intentional about trying to get to know you and it just made you being there feel okay, a little less on edge. Of course, you're still kind of on edge because you feel like I don't know what they're gonna ask me to do, and especially when it comes to the to visitors participating with the uh, uh, with the table topics. I thought that was super cool. But even in that exercise alone, I think that was just so powerful. And watching that on the adults interaction with the Toastmasters Club, and then watching it be mirrored in the youth experience in the Gavel Club, the way that you treat the youth in the Gavel Club that you sponsor, good gracious, they get the same exact experience, if not better, because I feel like no one dumbs down or tries to make the experience bite-sized for the kids. The kids get the full-on same exact experience that the adults get. To the point to where when my son visited a Toastmasters club with me, he was probably more proficient and felt more comfortable, and they were more interested in him than they were with me because he was used to the formula. And I appreciate that about the experience that I've had with Toastmasters, specifically because of your exposure and you exposing us to it. I'm super grateful. I realize that right now that you serve as the vice president for promotions right now for the club. So what do people need to know specifically about connecting with, or how they can connect with Dawn Breakers, just to be able to experience this? Because we've been talking about it, and I know we've kind of gone left. We focus more on Toastmasters, but really my goal is to really help my viewers. I don't want to so much talk about, the athletes who don't talk well. I want to help cultivate my viewers. I want to give them things that they can walk away with, and I feel like that your content and your club is absolutely necessary for them as they grow forward. So how can people connect with you? How can they connect with the club? How can they get the opportunity to get the experience that I've had the opportunity to experience, and I still need to be back in? I know God bless you all for knocking down my door and busting and sending SWAT to come get me. I appreciate that. I know, but I do know that it is absolutely necessary, specifically for people who are trying to grow their online experience, their online presence, their Zoom conference calls, their their writing, just period, because this influences this. Um, how can they connect with you? How can they find Dawn Breakers? How can they get connected with this presidential, this presidential, uh,
President's
distinguished, right, distinguished club?
Well, I am very excited about this year. I get the opportunity to be Vice President of Public Relations. So
Public
please,
relations. Okay, yes.
please, please, please feel free to contact me. My email address is very easy. It's my first name at gmail.com. So please feel free to contact me. I'll be more than happy to return your email, answer any questions you might have about Toastmasters, about Dawn Breakers, about how to become a member of Dawn Breakers. And we just welcome you because we want you to be the best you can be. And actually, as I said before, we want you to be a notch above excellence. We want you to achieve your goals, whether that be as a public speaker, whether that be to be able to present your proposal for your new business, whether that be to influence someone at your church or influence someone in your community. If that's your goal, then we want to help you to achieve that. And that's what we are about. That's what we are about as Toastmasters, and that's definitely what we are about as Dawn Breakers. We put a lot of emphasis on helping our members. Our members, without any members, we don't exist. And as far as Dawn Breakers is concerned, if we can't, well, in prep, when we were meeting face to face, we would meet you with a hug. And we would meet you. That was the way that, particularly myself, that was the way we greeted you and wanting you to make sure that you felt a part. Even though we're on an online environment now, we still want you to feel a part. We still want you to feel like you are a part of our club and we are a part of you. And that's probably more important, that we are a part of you and helping you achieve your goals. And if I can say, that's the same way we feel about our young people. Dawn Breakers actually sponsors our Gavel Club, which is our Gavel Youth Club. And again, we want to be a part of our young people. We want to be a part of their development. We want to help them be the best and better. So we welcome, again, for you to reach out to me at the same address, and I'll be more than happy to share with you our goals and what we're looking forward to helping you young people, helping your young person or young people achieve and be confident. And I think that's the word I want to use. Be confident about what they want to do. Be confident about themselves. Be confident about their ability to speak and convey and communicate.
Now, the Dawn Breakers for the adults meets on Saturdays, correct?
Yes, we meet every Saturday, and that's come rain, shine, snow, doesn't matter. Well, it does matter sometimes, but not often. But we meet every Saturday at 9:30, from 9:30 to 11. And we have a Zoom address, and I'll be happy to share that with you. And we meet every Saturday from 9:30 to 11.
Now,
Our Gavel
for the
Club,
right.
We are on hiatus. Well, we are not on hiatus. We're off for the month of July, but we will be meeting again starting in August, and we meet every Tuesday from 6:30 to 7:30. And we welcome, and unlike some clubs, parents, guardians are welcome to attend our Gavel clubs. There are some people that feel that parents should not be at the Gavel club. Well, we feel just the opposite. My best meetings have been when the parents are on one side and my Gavaliers are on the other side. And we have awesome, awesome meetings. So once again, I welcome you to please get in contact with me and I'll be happy to work with you. I work with an awesome team of a small team, but yet a committed team. We have a Dr. Danielle Stewart who helps us with educational sessions. And then we have an incredible young lady, Leah Francis, who I call our Zoom master. And she's been working with us, helping us stay, keeping our platform and helping us with our young people as far as Zoom is concerned.
So that's every Tuesday at 6:30 for the Gavel
6:30.
Club,
Yes.
and every Saturday at 9:30 for the
9:30 for
Toastmasters.
Dawnbreakers. Mm-hmm.
Now, and while we get down the screen for people to be able to hear, so I am. Our time is almost up, and I thank you so much for spending time with me tonight. The power of the Gavel Club and the Dawnbreakers Toastmasters Club has a lot to do with the experience that people receive, and I have had the opportunity to witness in both cases. Parents come and just give kudos on the Gavel Club to the point to where they are they're like, listen, I see the value add. I realize why my kids need this, and we will do whatever we can to make sure they stay connected. And then there are adults who are in the Dawnbreakers Toastmasters Club who walk in, who see the value, and and they want to jump into fee. They want to get it all. I want to get my 10 speeches in, or they just they want to run for it. Um, and then I realize for a lot of people, life happens, and then when life happens, they don't they sometimes they feel shame to come back, or they feel like well maybe I wasn't supposed to do it, or maybe it wasn't important, or priorities change. What would your, I guess, what would your advice be to the people who have tried things before and who have not been successful? I tried it and it just didn't work, or I did a little bit, and and I saw, it was good, but I just don't have the time, or it's just not important. Just like right now we can't do it. What would your advice be to them? What would your words of wisdom be to them as they are thinking about their futures, as they're measuring out what's coming next in their life?
I can honestly say from my own experience and from my own experience with Toastmasters, specifically with Dawnbreakers, and if I can share this story with you, I am right now, I am disabled. Now, there are those that will look at me and say, well, you don't look disabled, but I am. The beauty of what I'm going to tell you is the fact that I was accepted as I am. And people worked with me to achieve the goals that I have achieved. I wanted to be a distinguished Toastmaster. Therefore, I committed to be a distinguished Toastmaster in spite of my disability. I say to you, be committed. It doesn't matter what you have going on. It doesn't matter. Trust me on this one. Be committed to achieving the goal. If it means that you have to stay up a little later, be willing to do that. If it means that you have to not do something that you might ordinarily do, like go to the show or go to a sporting event, and that's a lot, to order to be and to do what you need to do to commit and achieve your goal, Be committed. And as we say at Toast and Dawnbreakers, just do it. Don't look for excuses. Don't look for a way out. Just do it. And you will thank yourself many, many times when you look back and say, I did that. I accomplished that. I actually did that. And that has got to be the best feeling in the world. Because when I could say, I'm a distinguished Toastmaster because I did it.
Listen, I am so grateful. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. I have the points that you brought up, and I want to have them. Just I want to make sure that everybody sees these. First, how to connect with you. Your email again is I want to make sure that people see that so they can be able to connect with you and find out about the Gavel Club and about the Dawnbreakers Club. And meeting times for Gavel Club is going to be 6:30 on Tuesday, starting back in August.
Yes.
And right now, they can connect with Dawnbreakers every Saturday, rain, shine, sleet, snow, not COVID, uh, or
Right.
right, but they can find you all assembled every Saturday at 9:30, and the points that you gave us for all the people who need to who are afraid to bite the bullet to jump in 2 feet and do it. Here is some quick homework that they can start applying immediately as soon as this broadcast is over. And just to recap again, you said number one, be clear, write down your points. Right? What was the next one?
Practice, 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 and practice again.
Practice in front of mirror. Practice when you're with people. Practice without people. Then the third one was ask someone to what? Listen to you, so you can be willing to listen to them and accept feedback. I love that one. And the last one was it was a given. It needs to happen. You need to join a club. If nothing else, sit in on a meeting and get get exposed to the experience. Find the club that works for you. The first one, the one that's close to you, may not be the one that you need. You might need to drive over to Decatur. You might need to get out of your comfort zone. You might need to connect. If you're out of state, it's right now you have the ability to still connect with the Dawnbreakers. And I encourage you, reach out, find them. This is absolutely important. If you're intending to try to do anything with where you are currently, and let me also say this, as a pastor and person who speaks publicly on a regular basis, uh, I find the need for Toastmasters, and it is pastors. It's not going to mess up your doctrine. If anything, it's just going to help you not have to keep waiting for you to wrap your message up 5 times. I'm just saying, but that's a whole nother message. uh, Alstenia, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I truly appreciate it. Our time is all the way up. Is there anything you want to say to me before we go?
I just want to say it has been my pleasure. I've enjoyed it immensely. I hope, as I always say, I hope it's something I said that might help you on your journey. And all I want for you is the best, the very best. And whatever your goals are, whether they're professionally or personal goals, just strive to be a notch above excellence.
Tremendous. Listen, don't go anywhere. So, all of you guys, you know how I absolutely love sharing time with you. If tonight was beneficial to you in any form or fashion, I encourage you, one, tag somebody in the comments or share this broadcast with someone so that they can be able to at least hear the information that was shared on tonight. I encourage you, if nothing else, especially for my new entrepreneurs, for all of you who are doing some great things, some brand new things coming out of 2020, and the Lord has created some opportunities for you, especially for my young people who are finding new ways to earn money, for my young people who are growing in capacity, for my new authors and my cultivating authors. And I encourage you guys, listen, there's going to be a time or a moment where you're going to sit in front of a camera and a microphone, just like I'm doing right now. It might be a Zoom, it might be live TV, wherever it is. I encourage you, prepare for that moment. And you prepare for that moment by doing the stuff we talked about tonight. Listen, guys, it's Tactical Talks. I love you guys. Talk to you later.